Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of voice of radio. So today I've gotten up early. It's EUIC day one, but I thought the Arven cards were going to be revealed from Hot Air Arena, and it turns out the Arven cards have been revealed from Hot Air Arena. I was right. So let's start off with, well, the EX. We've got ourselves a Mabosstiff. The Mabosstiff, if anybody's wondering, single energy 10, free energy 50 on a 70 HP basic. Not particularly impressive. We can move on. But with the EX here, what we've got is 270 HP on a stage 1. That's quite big. And we got ourselves single energy 30. That's not good. But if this Pokemon has no damage counters on, the attack does 150 instead. Keep this completely clean, you can do 150 damage. And don't worry, we've got a nice way to keep it nice and clean. Is this any good? It depends. One thing that really annoys me here is the number. If you're hitting for weakness against something like a Gardevoir, for instance, you'll be doing 300 damage. But the best thing you're hitting for weakness here is a Gardevoir, and Gardevoir's got 310 HP. So this just falls exactly 10 damage away from KOing a Gardevoir, and I know that we've got ways to do the extra 10 damage, that's not my point. The point is that when you're 10 damage away from KOing the main Pokemon you're hitting for weakness, that is generally a not ideal sign. So yeah. That's kind of annoying. And don't get me wrong, single energy 150 on a stage 1 is nice, but the problem here is you're not really KOing very much. And honestly, even 2-hit KOing, 300 damage, you'll get anything that isn't a stage 2 EX. But there's plenty of stage 2 EXs round right now that you will be falling short of getting a 2-hit KO. Something like a Dragapult, for instance. You're just not doing enough damage here to even get a 2-hit KO. And if I'm not 1-hit KOing things I'm hitting for weakness, and if I'm not 2-hit KOing things that I'm not hitting for weakness, I'm worried about my damage output here. It's nice to have this gimmick of single energy 150, yay, but actually when it comes down to it, it's actually kind of annoying damage-wise. Sorry about that. As for the second attack here, what we've got is free energy, and you deal 210 damage, but you cannot use this attack next turn. And it is this attack, it is this named attack, so you can go back to using the other one. But here, I mean, look, it's colorless energy, which is nice. We like the fact that it's colorless energy. Colorless energy is good. But then, by the same token, we don't have Dark Patch right now. Dark Patch has gone and rotated. And we don't have, say, Double Turbo Energy. Double Turbo Energy has gone and rotated. But the bigger issue for me is the fact that 210, again, it's not a key number. 220 or 230, that's what you need to get most of your big basic EXs. They are the two numbers. And honestly, nowadays, there's enough with 230 that you really want to be hitting 230. Roaring Moon as a random example. And you're not. You're hitting 210. It's just not enough damage. Both of these attacks I'm looking at and I'm going, I need a little bit more here. I need a little bit more damage and I'm not getting quite enough damage. That is a problem for me. Plus, you don't have Dark Patch to accelerate energy. So I just look at this and it just seems to be falling a little bit short in most areas. I like the HP on a stage 1. I like it's got a single energy attack. But I'm just not doing enough damage here. And I'm not getting the energy on quite as easily as I might like, except for the first attack, but the first attack only doing 150. I mean, look, yes, I love the fact that you're doing 150 for 1 energy, and yeah, especially if you go first in the early game, this is going to be a very nice attack, and until your opponent gets rolling, you're going to be getting a lot of cheeky KOs. But it only works if you can keep Mabosstiff completely clean with no damage, and 150 is not always enough. So how do we keep Mabosstiff completely clean with no damage? Well, if you've played Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, you will know that you do it with a sandwich. Yeah, that's right. Arven Sandwich. It is an item card that heals 30 damage from your active Pokemon. And it is specifically active Pokemon. This does not work on any kind of bench Pokemon. Sorry about that. But if your active Pokemon is an Arven's Pokemon, you don't heal 30, you heal 100. That's obviously ridiculous healing for an Arven's Pokemon. Like, against a non-Arven's Pokemon, it's literally Potion that can only heal the active. Potion heals 30 from anything, this heals 30 from your active. So if you're not using it on an Arven's Pokemon, this is objectively just a bad version of Potion, and Potion doesn't see any real play right now. There have been times in the past it has, but right now especially, Potion is not good. So, yeah. But we are healing 100 damage. And look, healing 100 damage is phenomenal. Like, we got Dragon Elixir in Surging Sparks that only heals your active Dragon Pokemon. So again, it's only active, and again, it's only Dragon Pokemon. And that only healed 60. And this heals 100. And again, I don't think Dragon Elixir is a particularly good card. I'm not seeing much play. But just from a design standpoint, this is a similar kind of card. Heal from your active this category of Pokemon. And yet this is significantly better. Like, Pokevital A is an A spec. And it heals 150 and can't be recovered to your hand or deck from the discard pile. And that's an A spec, which you can only play one A spec in your entire deck. And no, 150 is better than 100, we get that. But my point is, it's not that much better that it should be an A spec, whereas this can be a 4 of and be recoverable. Healing 100 damage is great. Healing 100 damage specifically from Arven's Pokemon basically gives you a huge advantage if you've got any Arven's Pokemon that you can take advantage of. And in theory, this is how we keep Mabosstiff clean. This heals 100 damage. You can put 4 of them in your deck. So your opponent doesn't KO, you just use the sandwiches to heal up over and over, and then you got your single energy 150. And I love the way that this works exactly like you would imagine it would given the game. In the game, you give sandwiches to your dog to keep it going, or at least Arven does. That's exactly what happens here. And I think this is a great card, obviously. Healing 100 is phenomenal. But the biggest issue is, and we've seen this with some of the other trainers' Pokemon, it's not good enough just to have a good healing card. You've got to have other Pokemon to use with it. And I just don't think Mabosstiff is worth it. I don't really want single energy 150. It's not quite good enough, especially when I have to be relying on the sandwich. Now, the good news is we also have ourselves a Greedent here. Shout out to the lovely Kato artwork on the Squovit. That's amazing. And we do have the artwork rare here of the Greedent, which is also absolutely stunning. For what it's worth, the Squovit's got single energy 10, and before doing damage, you discard Pokemon tools from your opponent's active Pokemon. So if they've got any tools on, you get rid of them. As a side note, it is all Pokemon tools. Any that are attached, you trash. Nice. It's not amazing, but if your opponent's really relying on tools, it can be a fun little thing. But then we've got Greedent. And look, Greedent, I love the artwork here by Komiyama. It's phenomenal. Greedent often has phenomenal artwork. We've got 2 energy, 50 damage. That's a terrible attack. But once during your turn, when you play this card from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may put up to 2 Arven Sandwich from your discard pile into your hand. Oh, yeah, that's really good. That's like really good. We love this. Because now we've got this sandwich that heals 100, which is really good. And we recover 2 of them with Greedent. Now it is a when you evolve it from your hand, not an every turn ability. So you are going to have to essentially keep getting Greedent rolling. Fine. But I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, being able to recover 2 of these cards, which I've said I like the best thing about this whole suite, is very good. So I love that the sandwich heals 100. I love that Greedent gets 2 of these sandwiches back. And look, I'm not saying single energy 150 is terrible. Obviously it's not. But I'm saying you're not hitting key numbers, and you're having to rely on being completely clean every turn, and I think this is going to be a bit too much. I'm giving this whole thing between 3 and 4 wassies. We don't give half wassies, that would be barbaric. I am not saying this can't work, and I'm not saying this is terrible, but I am saying that the reliance on having to be healed is very different from the really nice healing we've got, and we're not hitting the key numbers, so I don't think it's the best one out there. Or maybe I'm wrong. Let me know either way in the comment section. Get us! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.